I mean, you said last week they had a fight booking. I'm assuming you can't talk about it.
No, I turned it down. It was short notice. It was like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? Smart, mate. Smart.
Yeah, I think I would have been fine, but
yeah,
it's my leg. I like one leg kick, like you're right back to zero, you know?
How's it feeling?
It's good. It's good. It's like tender still to touch a little bit, and like I can grapple and roll, and it's no big deal, but I just don't want to go in there not healed. It's one thing, we're banged up all the time, but be still like lingering shit from the previous fight's not a good idea.
Yeah. You know, talking of lingering things, that burning in my mouth on Thursday was lingering for quite some time.
We got straight hoed by your wife. I could not believe how much of a savage she is. She just kept eating it.
I will say this, you know, I went and got a little haircut for the commentary, and when I was there, she was texting me, my stomach's on fire. So her stomach had like a delayed reaction by hours for some weird reason. I don't know the science behind that one, but at least, you know.
It was impressive.
It was impressive. She's so tough and she's so hard. Anyway, everyone, we got a big show for you today. We have the legendary Jim Miller joining us shortly. Jim Miller, what a guy. I mean, what a legend. You know, fighting at the highest level since 2008. I think it's 43 fights in the organization, most wins. I'm sure there's so many other records as well. So looking forward to talking to him. Do you know Jim?
I don't. I've never had a chance to speak to him. I've never met him. So I'm excited. He's that guy that whoever, like, just for the listeners and viewers, like whoever your favorite fighter is, looks up to Jim Miller. That's the kind of guy for sure. He is.
Like when I'm interviewing him in the cage, it's a different kind of feeling. I'm like, this guy is, you know, he's never been a Conor McGregor or an Israel Adesanya or something like that, but he is respected in the fight community. And as you say, by the fighters as well, you know, and a man that's been doing it for so long, he's just such a blue collar, hardworking, non-shit talking badass, you know. And I tell you what I really respect is Saturday night, when he knocked out the newcomer that he beat, Jesse Butler. He didn't enjoy it. You can see the look on his face. It's like, listen, this is what we're here to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he didn't take any satisfaction from seeing him unconscious. And I thought, you know, it speaks the measure of the man.
I hear that he's pretty funny. Like that he's I hear he's kind of a comedian. Like he's just got a real fun sense of humor. So I'm excited to hang out with him on here for a little bit.
Okay, well, with the main event, we'll get into this one straight away. Amir Albazi, Kai Kara France, entertaining fight, good fight, highly technical. You know, some good work done on both sides. Albazi had a big third round because he got him down and was threatening the choke for a while. I thought, and I said, because Brendan Fitzgerald put me right on the spot, he said, what do you think, Michael? Do you think that was the correct decision? And I felt really awkward because the last thing I want to do is berate someone that's just fought 5 rounds and won. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he asked me the question, and at the time, I haven't rewatched it, so there is that caveat. But I thought Kai Kara France won. What did you think?
I thought so initially, like when I watched it, and then I rewatched it again yesterday. And I kind of have a hard time arguing with the judges, not because I don't still. If I was judging that fight, even watching it the second time, I probably would have still given it to Kai Kara France. But I think when you rewatch it after you already know who won, and then you're looking to see like, okay, did Kai really win this fight? I think I'm watching it with a little bit of a bias because I'm paying more attention to what Kai's doing and less Albazi. I wouldn't call it a robbery. I don't think that it's a robbery by any sense. It was very close. I think a lot of people in the community judged it for Kai Kara France. But I think what we do lose sometimes is the judges are given they're given a criteria, and they have to stick to that criteria. And I just think that we don't all necessarily agree with that criteria. I think that's where a lot of the issues come from. Which is damage. Yeah. That's the main thing. It used to be duration, octagon control, and damage as well, of course. But that damage is the big one. Damage is the big one. But, you know, but you do score the rounds on a round-by-round basis. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's damage done per round. As I said, I haven't watched it back. Either way,
congrats to both men. I thought it was a great fight. Very, very technical. Look at that hairpiece dangling down. I just finished working out, for crying out bloody loud.
I just wish I had some hair. I'm about to get some hair.
Are you're off to Turkey for
I think I'm going to go. Yeah, I think I'm in the middle of like talking to him right now. Like we've been kind of going back and forth. You're going to get
the hair plugs.
I think so.
And then what is that procedure? Because obviously being a man with hair, I've never looked into that.
I don't know. I don't know what you got to do. I don't know how it works. They kind of explained it, but I didn't understand a lot of it. They sent lots of before and after pictures of other people. You can get beard implants.
Yeah, no, I know. I only know that because I saw it on a trans woman getting them done on an Instagram video. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
There's
Brian, well done. I was going to say, I saw an image of someone getting it done, and it was that exact image there from Marab. Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Got it done too, same place.
Really?
Yeah.
What is the rough cost of something like that?
I don't know.
A few grand, probably something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Perfect world. Perfect world. You go out there, you get the plugs. What kind of hairstyle are we rocking?
Straight up Gilbert Burns afro. Let's go on a run.
Being half black, when you had hair, was it an afro style that grew out?
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it's a fro.
Oh, bro, I want to see this.
I'm gonna try.
That is legendary.
It's not super thin. It's just like it's receding around here and getting thin there, but like the rest of it's okay. So we just get a little bit of right there, maybe a beard, full on Kimbo slice.
That's what you need for the comeback. It's the afro, the beard.
Yeah.
Brian says here in the
maybe
chat,
some chest hair.
Yeah, go the full hog. He says if you want to get a hair transplant in Turkey, you need a budget between 2,500 and 7,500, which covers your accommodation and transportation. But you don't have to go to Turkey anyway. What else? Saturday night. So yeah, look, listen, it was a close fight. It was a close fight. And the reality is anytime, and we're repeating ourselves now because we say this every time. I haven't watched it back. You have, and you saw it through a different lens. Daniel Cormier.
No, I agreed with you. I seen what people were talking about. Initially, I was like, I thought it was Kai Car France for sure. Watching it back, I still agreed that I still think it was Kai, but it was much closer watching it the second time than I thought it was the first time. But I still think it was Kai Car France, but I do see the argument.
You do.
I do see the argument for Albazi though.
Well, DC came out and he said Kai Car France won that fight. And then I think a little bit later he came out with another tweet and said, I was wrong. I'm assuming maybe he watched it again as well. So that's interesting. Harrington, how are you, brother? Harrington and Brian, how are you both?
I'm doing well. Took me quite a while to recover from that one chip challenge, but I'm up and at it now.
I'm just going to say this, Harrington, your tongue wasn't blue. Everyone else's tongues, me and Anthony, our tongues were illuminous, bright blue. You had like ever so slightly a smattering of blueberry on your tongue.
The tape doesn't lie, Mike.
Tape doesn't lie.
Go back and watch it. The whole
we did. It doesn't lie.
Yeah, we've seen it. I've watched it multiple times. Okay, I've watched it multiple times, and I'm like, Harrington's a little shit.
You're the only thing that saved us from getting absolutely annihilated worse online because people already made fun of us because Rebecca embarrassed us all. But then they just wrote right to you. They're like, he didn't even do it.
Yeah. No, Rebecca said she was going through the comments. She was at the hairdressers the other day. She says, I am loving this. And I'm not surprised. Harrington, before Jim Miller joins us and we talk about him, throw something at us, pal.
Okay, so what's the craziest thing you think you would do for views on a YouTube channel?
Well, we know where this is going. This is about the guy that jumped out of the bloody airplane. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, set the stage. Just set the story. Don't try and start off with a different story, asking us a question. Just let's get into the deets. Did you see this recently, Anthony, the YouTuber?
I just seen the video, and then I was starting to get into the story, and I kind of got lost in something else.
So, Harrington, we didn't talk about this at the time, did we?
No. This was from a couple of weeks ago, and we had it in the group chat, but it never made it to the show. So this guy is a YouTuber, and yeah, He went full GTA, jumped out of a plane that was still moving in the air, parachuted his way to safety. Now, obviously, leaving the plane to crash somewhere. The guy is facing up to 20 years in jail for this stunt.
I mean, it's pretty dangerous. You never know. I mean, listen, it looks like he's out in the middle of nowhere, but there could have been hikers or anything, And the thing was, because I saw it on the news recently, it was a few weeks ago, I think this now, but he denied it. But somehow, conveniently, he had cameras set up inside the cockpit, on the wings, catching him everywhere. And he's all like super casual, like right before he jumps out. Yeah. If you're driving or flying a little plane like that and it runs out, the engine stops working, you are freaking out to the goddamn max. I don't know about you, Anthony.
100%. And I again, I'm not a pilot, so I don't know shit about shit. But I didn't know that all pilots. Lost Michael.
I'm back, baby.
I didn't know all pilots flew just wearing parachutes. Is that just a normal thing?
No, they don't.
Like, thank God I happened to walk out of the house wearing this. It doesn't work like that, right?
I don't think they do. If there's any details that we're missing, Harrington, but look, listen, I get it. They all want to go out there, and I think that Logan Paul, what did he do? He got a lot of flack for it. I think he filmed someone committing suicide or something in Japan. I think
he took a video of someone like hanging in like some tree.
He took a walk to the forest in Japan and videotaped a man who had just recently activitied there.
Oh, man, what a depressing place that is. No, with these little planes, they're coming down all the time, though, because Yorba Linda, it's like the next town over from me. It was on the news. It was about a year ago, I think. People sitting in the house, watching TV. All of a sudden, a little plane just comes through the roof of the house.
Oh, no.
Killed everyone in the house, of course. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Because all these little people, they're getting the little planes and the little jets, you know what I mean? And they go out there, they have a few lessons, and they get the license. All of a sudden, they're coming down on the freeways in Orange County. That's kind of a semi-regular occurrence. Oh, yeah, another jet came down on the freeway. It's mental.
Where my 5-year-old plays soccer at is right by this little kind of like, it's not like a big airport, but a smaller airport for those kind of planes. And so the whole time we're at these games and practices, there's just constantly planes like that landing, constantly all throughout the day. And so I was sitting there with a couple of the other parents. I'm like, how much do you think one of those costs? So I started looking it up, and there for like a good hot second, I was like, I should just get a plane. Like I could fly back and forth from Denver. And I thought it was like a great idea. And then my wife was like, why don't you Google how often those things crash? It's a lot. You're right.
Is it really?
It's a lot. Yeah. And they're not.
What's like statistically, what is the number? Do you know?
I don't even remember what the number was. It was pretty easy to find on Google how many privately flown planes crash, but it's a lot. It's shocking. That's how many it was. And they're not that crazy expensive, to be honest with you. It sounds kind of bougie, but like it's about the price of a brand new car to get one of those kind of, like an older little plane.
Anthony Smith is flying private these days. He's out there. He's
that's not flying
jet.
Private.
Oh my God, that's
right
great.
There, Brian said in 2020 alone. Wow. Hold on a second. I lost it.
1,007 total private plane accidents reported in the United States alone. 1,007. That's a lot.
I mean, what is that? That's 2 a day.
No, 3 a day, I'd say, closer to that.
Oh, yeah, 3 a day, yeah.
Statistically, you're more likely to get killed on the way to the airport.
Yeah.
What movie is that?
Oh, man.
We did it on Friday. Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, we don't need to spend too much time on that. All right, guys, I want to talk about HDLT supplements. And I just want to point out, first and foremost, you don't have to be an international badass like me and Anthony Smith. It's just an average guy, an average woman even, you need to put the best fuel in your body. And that's essentially what HDLT supplements offer. Of course, not talking about food, but the supplement side of things. They got everything covered, from the protein to the pre-workouts to multivitamins. When you go to the website, hdltsubs.com, you will see it's all scientifically backed in over a dozen human trials, showing clear benefits when it comes to sleep, mood, energy, performance, well-being, and of course, weight loss. The shred. Let me tell you, that works. I lost so much weight so quickly. I went from being a little bit chubby to being, I when I was in Tenerife last time, I was that guy. I did a couple of topless pics on my Instagram story. Yeah, because I liked the look of what I was getting from the shred. So still, look, listen, give them a try. If you're looking to improve yourself, up your regime, feel better in the morning, get a better workout, go to htltsubs.com. Check out everything. As I said, they got the protein. They got everything you need. Use the promo code, though, Bisping. You're going to get 10% off your entire order. That is htltsubs.com. The code is Bisping for 10% off. Harrington, give us an MMA story, buddy. Throw something at us. I mean, in fact, we'll talk about this, I think, real quick. Nate Diaz took to Twitter to announce that Anthony Smith was right. They're going to have to move to another state for the boxing match. Jake Paul's manager took to Twitter and announced immediately that nothing is going to change about the events. Yeah. Because obviously he can't smoke marijuana in Texas. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this whole situation? How do you think it plays out?
Well, it's probably it's not even so much that he can't smoke marijuana in Texas. He has to have a clean drug test, which he
to compete,
which he can't do.
Also, beforehand, he has to submit a clean drug test.
I'm sure that they have to drug test him for the commissions, right? But like Vegas, Vegas isn't going to test for marijuana, or you know what I mean? Like they don't really give a shit. But Texas is pretty tough on weed still. So, because when I fought in Dallas, I remember this now. We got an email from the UFC. It was like the regulation department saying that Texas has a no tolerance policy on THC. So you can't, because technically, even before USADA and like most of the athletic commission stopped even testing us for marijuana unless they thought we were under the influence during the competition. They don't even, that's the only reason they would ever test you, to make sure that they don't think that you're not under the influence during the fight. But there was a certain metabolite level that you could be up to. And Texas is of zero tolerance, zero, no THC at all.
Yeah, because the thing is they have in competition and out competition. So I think it's 48 hours before and 48 hours after, or is it 24?
I think it's 24.
24.
Well, I think it's from weigh-ins until directly after the fight is in competition.
So it's a 48-hour window, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but Texas is different at all.
No THC in your system at all. It has to be zero on like you have to, like when they drug test you, it has to say you have zero THC metabolites in your system.
So it would
take Diaz like 3 months to get zero.
For sure, exactly. That ain't ever happening.
There's no way.
But looking at the implications, though, so the reality is though that he could go out there, he could fight Jake Paul, he could beat Jake Paul if he even made it to the ring because of what we're talking about, and then win, fail the test, and then they make it a no contest.
Yeah.
Which would make the whole thing a waste of time.
Always. The whole waste of time and money, and for everybody. He'd get a big old nasty fine because they fine people by percentages. I can't imagine what that percentage, a 20% fine would look like for him, but I bet it's a shit ton.
Yeah. Remember when they banned Nick Diaz for life?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. And then their answer to that was to be like, oh, okay, we'll reduce it to 5 years. 5
years, which is essentially just taking away someone's career because they smoked a joint or they like to smoke a drug, which is legal in most states. I'm not sure how many states it's legal in now, but
a bunch.
The majority, right?
Yeah. A lot. And a drug that has zero performance enhancing effects. Absolutely. I hope every guy I fight is high as fuck.
Do you really? What is it about? Because they always say, I mean, listen, I'm not an avid pot smoker or whatever, but if I do, I don't want to go do jiu-jitsu. I don't want to be creative. I don't want to get off my ass. No. I certainly aren't getting, I'm getting all creative and I'm figuring out new setups to go platters. Do you know what I mean? I ain't moving. I'm ordering a pizza and that's it.
I'm fighting a nap and obesity. That's about it.
21 states where it's legal, 18 where you got medical use, and 12 states where it's not allowed whatsoever.
Nebraska's one of them.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Harrington, tell me about what was it? We never talked about this. The woman who spent $10,000 on a fake hitman website trying to kill the wife of a man she matched with on Match.com.
So back back in 2020, I guess during the pandemic, she was swiping on Match.com. She met some guy who was like an avid hiker, and they got along pretty well. They hiked, a couple of mountains down in Tennessee. Well, things turned sour when he told her that he was leaving Tennessee to move to Alabama with his then fiance. So this woman just, she went a little bit nutty, decided to get this other woman out of the picture. She was found in Mobile, Alabama, outside of this woman's office. They have her car registered. She also went on a fake hitman website and put in, almost $10,000 in Bitcoin to hire a hitman to get this woman bumped off. And it ended up being, an FBI website.
Go on, carry on. Sorry, carry on.
So this is saying 7,000. The thing I read was almost $9,750 in Bitcoin. And the whole time she was also messaging repeatedly, being like, "Why hasn't this been completed yet? Do I need to put somebody else on the task? Can your guy not get it done? Why isn't this been done quickly enough?"
Oh my God. Listen, if you're on the market to have someone murdered,
you can't Google it.
You don't. No, yeah. Number one, if you want to murder someone, don't Google it. Because if you do get under suspicion, they're going to go through your computer. They're going to go through your hard drive. They're going to find everything. So number one, do not Google it. Certainly, secondly, if you do Google it and you find a website saying, "We will kill someone for you for $7,000 or whatever it was," don't do it.
That's the police.
That's the police, bro. Oh my God.
You can't, can you imagine just her on the computer and she's just typing away and she sees it I can just order it online.
Oh my God.
That's what the world has come to. You can get your groceries delivered, Amazon at your house every day. You can order someone being murdered. You can't do it all online.
Yeah. No. That's called murdering someone. That's 25 to life. Okay. My God. What a crazy woman.
What an idiot.
And it's run by the FBI. I bet they couldn't believe it. And she's going back and forth. Like she's texting someone. Like Rebecca's having a bunch of stuff delivered right now and it hasn't come. So she's dealing with the courier, So she's there like she's dealing with the courier. Well, how long's it going to be? Do you want to get a discount? You said this would be done by Tuesday. It's now Thursday, Wow.
I can't believe those FBI. I bet it's just some idiot FBI guy just cracking a joke with his other work friends. What if we just set up a website and just see if it works? And he's probably just sitting there back on his phone. He was the order comes in, it fucking worked.
Yeah. I do love watching undercover stings, like Cops.
Oh, I love
Do you watch Cops?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's like my guilty pleasure on a Sunday morning or afternoon. If I've commentated, I'm laying in bed, I'm having a lazy one. I stick Cops on, and I'll be there for a good hour. It's brilliant. I feel sorry for the people. I always do feel sorry for them because, you can just tell it's, the people that haven't had it easy in life. But God, it's so funny when they get caught doing something and they're trying to come out with the excuse. Oh no, I didn't know what was going on. Oh, the poor bastards.
Yeah, I love that. The undercover ones are the best. The prostitution stings, when they're in the hotels with the grainy, shitty camera. Oh, I love it.
What was that one called? To Catch a Predator. You ever see that back in the day?
Those were awful. The excuses were incredible. Oh,
no. But then
I'm so worried about her. I just thought I'd come check on her. It's
So the messaging with an underage girl for ages, and they're talking about doing whatever, getting up to no good, and then they show up. And then the girl's always like, okay, I'm just going to go in the bathroom. And then it shows a guy standing, go, do. And then the dude walks in with a camera crew. I used to love that.
And he's got all the transcripts. He's like, no, I wasn't going to do anything. And it's they hold the thing like this and it's a blurred out picture of him with a dick pic. Did you send this? I don't know where that came from.
Well, it's you, buddy. And this is your phone number. And then they're going to run. And he's like, well, you can run, but the police are outside waiting for you. And they're like, oh, serves you. God,
that's what
damn
you get.
Right. It is. Israel Adesanya was fired up over the split decision. We talked about that. But, you know, it's hard. When you're someone like Izzy and it's your teammate, you're always going to look through that lens. You know what I'm saying? You're always going to think that your teammate does better. Like when I was talking about Justin Gaethje and Kamaru Usman, and he thought I'm biased. You know, it's the same thing, you know. Listen, I understand Izzy being a good teammate. Good for him. One fight that was scrapped. This is Harrington, yeah. Listen, Jared Gordon. I felt sorry for Jared Gordon, but he made a mistake. Because obviously he was supposed to fight. Who was he supposed to fight? Where is it? Jared Gordon.
Jim
Miller.
Oh, crap. Yeah, of course. What am I saying? And obviously he had the clash of heads with Bobby Green. It was about 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't get knocked unconscious, did he? So I don't think he was given a mandatory suspension like often would happen.
Right.
And then he shows up and at the press conference says that he was concussed. And they had to pull him from the fight. And I like, who doesn't like Jared Gordon? He's just a top geezer.
He's such a good dude. When we had him on here, it was one of those conversations you just really, really enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
And so I felt really bad for him too. But if you're at the pre-fight media day,
you can't do it.
You can't be like, I got a concussion or I had a torn ACL 4 weeks ago. Like, you can't say anything like that because it puts the company at too much risk if they send you in there knowing you're hurt. And then I felt really bad because then Dana kind of let him have it in the post-fight press conference.
Yeah. I mean, it's not so much, the UFC won't let you, but it's also the athletic commissions.
Right.
If there's a hint of an injury, you know what I mean? Like when I fought George St. Pierre, when I fought I was defending the title at Madison Square Garden, massive fight. You know, and George is a pay-per-view star, so it was going to be by far the biggest payday of my career. I tore my ribs week before, final sparring session like a dickhead, and I was in a lot of pain. And I went and saw my doctor, and he said, listen, we can give you, he said, there's nothing we can do for it. It's time. That's the only thing that will fix it. He said, but I can give you some lidocaine in a needle. He said, and you can inject yourself with a needle into your ribs, okay? And for about 20, 30 minutes, you won't feel any pain, right? And I was like, oh, interesting. And the doctor says, but be careful, because if you get it wrong, you can puncture your lung and die. I'm like, oh, okay. He said, but just give me a FaceTime. When you're there at the arena, just give me a FaceTime and I'll talk you through it so you can inject yourself. Anyway, I wanted to make sure I wasn't cheating or anything like that. And I spoke to somebody close to the situation that knows the score off the record, not anyone from the UFC. And I said, look, listen, here's what I'm thinking. Would there be any issues with this? And this person said, well, it's not a banned substance. But because if you tell the commission about it, that you're going to do that, the lidocaine is not a banned substance. However, it tells them that you're injured and you will be pulled from the fight.
Right.
So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But that, you know, I'm just telling you right now, if you go to the commission and you say, I'm thinking of using lidocaine because of my ribs, there's a 99.99999% chance that fight will be off. Right. So I thought, well, I'm not saying anything to the commission.
No,
and I remember I'm in Madison Square Garden. And you know how it is before a fight in big stadiums, you got the commission and they're watching you like a hawk. They're watching what you have in your bag. You make sure you haven't got different drinks and energy bars and all the rest of it. They're watching you have your hands wrapped, you know. And I'm like, right, now's the time. I've got to sneak the needle of lidocaine out the bag, go to the toilet, FaceTime my doctor, and inject myself and almost puncture my lung. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, this is just lunacy. No, I'm not doing this. So obviously I didn't do it. And, you know, what will be, or what was. Yeah. And
that's crazy.
Out unconscious.
Have you ever told that before?
Not on here. I told the story in my book. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, and I think I did not know. I grabbed the needle and I went to the toilet and I'm in a stall and I'm standing there with it in my hand and I've got my phone there and I'm like, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden, Vitor Belfort tops off there. Do it, brother. Come to the dark side. Oh, shit. I used that line in my one-man tour. Shit. Great. Speaking of people getting choked unconscious, Mark Zuckerberg. Did you see this?
I did. I almost tweeted and stuck up for him, but.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Because, I should have. I just, I'm not much of I got to be better on social media. I'm not just really great. I'm more of a lurker. But I seen it and I read it, Mark Zuckerberg choked unconscious in jiu-jitsu match or whatever. And I thought initially, been there, I've been there like that. Welcome to the dark side, I suppose. But I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Like it happens in practice all the time. I've been choked unconscious a couple times thinking that I can get out of a choke, and you just wait a little too long. And then, you just go out and wake up and whatever. But, kind of credit to him for not tapping and trying to get out of it. But it's just part of jiu-jitsu. You do it long enough, you're going to get choked unconscious.
Oh, is this here? I mean, fair play to Mark Zuckerberg, right? Because obviously, founder of Facebook, he's doesn't need to be doing this. It says a special something about someone because you can tap at any time, and the fact he tried to fight out of it for so long until he got choked out unconscious. I mean, fair play. Let's have a look. Can't really see much here.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to see it, Brian. We know.
Well, the referee was saying
unconscious looks like. Cheers, bro. Thanks.
Well, the referee's saying that he heard him snoring. He was in an Ezekiel choke, and he heard him snoring. And Zuckerberg is saying that he wasn't snoring. But everyone that gets choked unconscious for the first time probably doesn't even realize they were choked unconscious. But then his coach came out today, I think, and said that he wasn't unconscious, that he was gurgling trying to fight the choke, and the referee thought he was snoring. So
well.
Good for him though. Either way. By the way,
good for him.
If I've looked a little distracted for a second, I was sitting here and I could smell my house. Like it smells like my house is on fire. So I just a couple minutes ago, real casually, text my wife, what's that smell?
Are we burning down?
This is the second time in a week this has happened. My oldest went to cook mac and cheese. They just got those little quick mac and cheese things, threw it in the microwave with no water in it, and then it just lights the whole thing on fire. And so the whole house smelled like it. She just said that my 8-year-old just did the same thing. She said,
"Oh my God,
they are lucky that you're on the podcast and the plumber was here." Because I'm going to blow up. Because now the whole house smells like...
Or she is.
No, she is. She's pissed. She is angry. You know that smell. It stays in your house for days.
Yeah.
And it reeks down here right now.
What's like one of the worst things you did as a child? That got you in the most trouble at home?
Oh, it's kind of a long story, but I'll shorten it up. My little sister and I were next door at the neighbors. Well, we weren't supposed to leave the yard. But this old couple that lived a couple doors down, they used to give us a couple dollars here and there to help them with, they were really old, and they would give us a couple bucks here and there to help them with little shit like pull weeds and move rocks and whatever. Just a really nice old couple. And we were supposed to stay. My mom worked a lot. My grandparents were watching us, but they were really old. So we were supposed to stay in the yard. But the old lady and the old man were a couple doors down. And they said, "Hey, do you want to come help us? We got a couple dollars." Because the cool thing to do back then was go to the dollar store and you could buy shit with your money. And so I just ignored everything we were supposed to do. And I took me and my sister down to go make some money. And my sister, do you know what a dandelion digger is? It's like a little gardening tool, and it's got 2 prongs on it that stick out like this, and you stick it in the roots of a dandelion, pull it out. So my sister was digging in, we were helping them pull weeds and stuff. And my sister had one, and she was digging in the cracks of a sidewalk. And I was supposed to be keeping her with me at our house. Yeah. And it popped up out of the concrete and stuck in her eye.
Oh, well, hold on. What stuck in her eye? The dandelion digger?
The dandelion digger, yeah. And it sliced her eyeball straight in half.
Did she lose the eye?
No, she still has. She can't see out of it, but...
she can't see out of it?
No, not really. She can... It's there's
me
light.
And your sister, we got a lot in common.
Yeah, there's light that it takes light, but she can't see anything. It's just this, it's not black, she's not blind in it, but she can't see anything really out of it.
So she's blind. There's a little light sensitivity.
Yes, yeah.
It's the same thing with me. Mine, I don't see a damn thing. It's black. Yeah. However, if a light goes on or off, the blackness changes shade.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It'll go a little bit lighter. It's still black, but it's not quite as concentrated.
Right. So
it
takes in light, and it's been like that since I think I was 7. So she would have been.
How
4.
old was she?
4.
She was 4.
Yeah, she was young. Oh, wow. It looks super cool though. It
What do you mean? What do you mean? How does it look cool?
When she went in, because then I got in trouble because I wasn't supposed to leave and turned out to be a disaster. But we didn't know. Like when it popped up, it didn't like stick in her eye and stay. Like it kind of went in and out, and it didn't touch her eyelids, her cheek, nothing. It went straight into her eye and out. It didn't touch anything else. So nobody knew. It's like she dirt flipped up when it happened. So we thought she just had dirt in her eye. So my mom didn't come home for several hours. So then my mom came home, and when she went to flush it, she seen it. And so anyways, took her to the hospital, and they just, you would think that it'd be like some really crazy fancy surgery. They just sewed it back together. So then she had problems with like the stitches getting embedded in her eye, and they'd go in and dig them out. But she has this gnarly gray scar right in the middle because she still has the color. Like she has brown eyes.
Right. So it still looks like a normal eye, but she just has a scar going through it.
It does. And so she's got this gnarly scar right down the middle that's really thick and gray. So if you look at her in her eyes, it looks fucking awesome. It just looks cool. She kind of looks like she got like one superhero eye. It's,
oh my God.
But if she's just walking around and you looked at her,
you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't notice. But like if you really look at her in her eyes, like you stare into her eyes, it's pretty badass looking.
Oh, well, good for her.
She can't drive this in her life, though.
Oh, no, I bet. Yeah, eyes. I mean, obviously, I'm very protective over my one eye. You know, whenever I'm out and about running and stuff, and there's a tree or there's a bush, I'm like, oh, shit. Last thing you need is just to get sliced in that. Mm-hmm. But like eyes, it's horrible. All right, guys, are you hitting a plateau in the gym? Are you not sure what to do? Are you kind of getting bored of the same old routine and you can't afford a personal trainer? Or you just don't want to waste the money on a personal trainer? Well, guess what? That is where FitBod comes in. FitBod is the app that creates a workout routine that is personalized to your goals, fitness levels, and available equipment. It learns from your previous workouts also and adapts as you improve. So you keep the momentum going all the way to the next year and beyond. As I said before, we've got a sensational deal for you, but it's actually cheaper than the cost of a personal session for a year's access to FitBod. So listen, just pick a fitness goal, add your equipment, and it adds the workout routine for you. The app switches up your exercises so you avoid overtraining or burnout, and your program changes based upon your personal progress for maximized results. Whether you're in the weight room or just your bedroom, FitBod has a plan for you. You learn new movements the correct way with over 1,400 high-definition demonstration videos. And as I said, a full year of FitBod is less than the cost of a single session with a personal trainer. And with this offer, why wouldn't you take advantage? Get 25% off your subscription right now, or try the app for free at fitbod.me/believe. Try it for free, get 25% off, fitbod.me/believe. I remember when here we go. Never mind that. Never mind whatever the hell we were talking about. Jim Miller, how are we, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
We were just saying before, you and Anthony don't really know each other, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, no, we haven't bumped into each other yet.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Well, talking about bumping into things, Saturday night, Jim, once again, you went out there, got the job done against Jesse Butler. I was just saying before, listen, you know, what you've achieved in your career is ridiculous. And thanks for your time this morning, by the way. You looked like, obviously, you know, when anyone steps into an octagon, that's the job. That's what's going to happen. But you looked like you didn't enjoy, because you're not a savage, you're not a piece of garbage. You know what I mean? You didn't enjoy seeing Jesse on the floor, you know, unconscious. Am I right?
Yeah, it was, you kind of, you feel a little bad sometimes, you know, obviously my job is to go out there and to be violent. But when I noticed that he didn't kind of like start to move right away, it was like kind of one of those, oh shit moments. And you're like, all right, well, let's hope this kid comes to, quickly.
Have you always been like that? Where you not necessarily? I mean, I don't think you probably ever want to hurt anybody, but have you always cared that much after a fight or after a knockout or a finish?
I mean, yeah. Like, there's always that. You know, at this point, I've been around the block a few times, so it's like, you know, it's kind of like that, like act like you've been here, you know, type of mentality. So it's exciting to go out and to perform like that, but it's not like it used to be when I was like a young kid. But I was still like, you know, I don't want people to get hurt. You know,
Right.
like, I mean, we go in there and we try to hurt each other, but it's like, it sounds kind of silly when you say it, but, like my goal was to not, you know, the goal was not to end somebody's career or make them deal with some, you know, really bad injury or something like that. Like, I want to get somebody in a submission hold and they tap before it breaks or something like that, or, you know, hit them hard enough that the ref stops it. But you don't want to see like permanent damage being done.
No, of course. No one ever wants that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Jim, what is it, 43 fights now in the UFC?
42.
42 fights.
Yeah,
I mean, that is ridiculous. When,
It is.
It's a lot. I mean, I think I had 30. I'm like, that's pretty good. 42.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, I mean, obviously every time you fight, it's an individual test, you know, there's always risks and dangers and things like that. But when you've had that many fights, how do you feel? Because we always say, you know, you can win or lose a fight before the fight even starts because of the mentality, because of the anxiety and the nerves and the pressure and all the rest of it. How is that side of things for you? Because you made that walk so many times.
You know, it's yeah, it's kind of like, it's hard to explain, honestly. Yeah, like sometimes you do psych yourself out. Like I said, I've been there so many times that at this point, like warming up in the back for that one, I was like, man, like you know, there's a part of me, it's like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, the end of my career coming up. I don't know when exactly it's going to be, but I know it's sooner than, you know, I'm far closer to the end of my career than I am the beginning, you know? So like, you know, I was kind of thinking like, man, I might only have like 2-3 more walks, you know? And, I was just kind of trying to suck it all up and, you know, really enjoy it. And, yeah, like I enjoy fighting. I still love it. I still enjoy the process. I still enjoy, you know, everything about it. There are obviously things that like aren't as fun, like cutting weight and all that stuff. And when you do get beat up, it's not always the best thing, but, it's part of what we do. And, yeah, I've really been trying to just absorb as much of it as I can and have fun while I'm doing it.
This is like I got like a 2-part question here. First of all, why do you still fight? I think everyone has to have a reason, but it seems like your reason would be more than just it's fun, because you still have such a tenacity, and you know, sometimes when guys get towards the end of their career, it's like, this is fun, I'm going to make a paycheck. But like when things get really hard, you can see that there's not a lot behind that, but that's not the case with you. And then the second part, do you feel like you're more anxious or nervous to fight now, or when you were maybe towards the beginning of your career in the UFC?
I was definitely a lot more anxious early in my career. You know, I used to get myself really psyched up to go out there and yeah, there was just a different mentality, and it took a while to kind of figure that out. Where like I would get myself super pumped, and then it kind of started to like fade off a little bit, and I was trying to force it, and I noticed that was like, it was getting me into trouble. It's making me lose fights because I wasn't thinking, I wasn't adapting. So I was like, man, just like relax. You know, it's like, just you've trained with, you know, some of the best guys in the world. You've you know, you fought the best guys in the world. It's like, just do what you're good at. And those nerves kind of have subsided. I still get butterflies, you know, like I'm still like anxious on fight day. But once I get to, you know, the venue, I'm super calm and you know, just things kind of start to settle in. For me, for the first part of the question, you know, like I just enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the opportunity to step into the octagon against, you know, the unknown that is, you know, an opponent, whether it's a guy like Jesse that I really didn't know all that much about, you know. I mean, we had 48 hours to try to figure him out. or it's a guy like Donald, fighting last year, where it's like, man, I kind of had PTSD from our first fight, like literally, like it was like the most painful experience of my life was that first fight with Donald. Like I took a body shot in the very first exchange of that fight that I'm pretty confident would have stopped a lot of people. And, like every body shot that he landed after that knocked the wind out of me. And I mean, when he hit that one front kick in the second round where I went down, it's the only time in my life that I've been knocked down with a body shot. And like, it felt like he stabbed me with something. And like, when everybody was talking about like, hey, do you want to fight Cerrone again? Like before I even got the opportunity, I was in my head, I'd be like, like I really don't. Like, yeah, I could kind of still feel like his toes hitting my spine, like, yeah. So to go into that fight with him, after, whatever it was, like 8 years, it was a new challenge. And it was like, yeah, there was that little bit of me that was nervous going in. But yeah, it was the challenge to, solve that puzzle, that I had already, failed at solving the first time. So really it's always been just that challenge to come out and to test my skills against somebody else. It's when it really comes down to it, I just love the competition of it.
Jim, we got to go through these, and I know you're a very humble man. You're not a shit talker, but I'm looking on your Wikipedia page. Right. Here is what you have accomplished throughout your legendary career. Most wins in UFC history. Most bouts in UFC history. Most bouts in the lightweight division in UFC history. Most wins in the lightweight division. Second most finishes in UFC history. Most finishes in the UFC lightweight division. Tied Damian Maia for the second most submission wins. Second most submission wins in UFC lightweight division. Fight of the night 7 times. Performance of the night 4 times. Submission of the night 3 times. Fight of the year 2012, most fight time in the UFC lightweight division. And I'll be honest, it goes on. Tied Anderson Silva for the 5th most fight of the night bonuses. Tied Joe Lowe's. It goes on and on and on. I mean, when you started this career, when did you turn pro? I'm not sure, but let me know. But does it shock you to this day what you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, it kind of does, it's a little bit surreal. I started fighting in 2005. I started training. I grew up wrestling, and started training in May of 2005, had my first fight basically 6 months to the day, later. And in Jersey at that time, it was all professional, or you had to fight like on the underground type stuff where there was like biting and headbutts and all that shit. So
no athletic commissions.
Yeah. So it was like straight to pro. I had kind of one of those surreal moments. What the heck night was it? Wednesday, working out, and Andre Arlovski walks in, and it's like, I'm thinking like, wow, like I got a couple more fights at him in the UFC. And it's like, he was UFC champ before I even started training. It's like, like this is a guy that I watched and was like a fan of before I had ever even stepped on a mat to compete in this sport. And it was like, holy shit. My name's associated with this guy's name. And it's like, he's one of those guys that kind of like shaped me, like here was this heavyweight that was super well-rounded, submitting guys, knocking guys out. And it's like, man, like, even though I'm a lightweight, I want to be able to fight like him. I want to be able to do everything. And yeah, like that was, it was awesome. And it was like, it kind of made me stop and think for a minute. And to be associated with the guys that I get associated with is, it is pretty cool. Like I don't, like I don't have the numbers up, behind me, I'm not like marking off on a chalkboard or anything like that anywhere, but it's like, yeah, like to have 20 wins in the UFC is not an easy task. Getting to 10 fights in the UFC is not an easy task. But yeah, to have
25 wins, just to correct you there, Jim.
Yeah,
25.
Yeah. But to get over that mark, there's only a handful of fighters, like, and it's it's like MMA royalty, you know?
Yeah.
It is.
To be in those ranks, it's like, holy shit, maybe we did something right.
Right. Well, if you got you're talking about your chalkboard that you don't have.
Yeah.
If you did have, what's left to mark off? Because I feel like when you said the UFC 300 thing, when you first said it, I remember when it's been a while since you've said it.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like you said it as like a joke. But now it's like seeming like that's probably not going to be much of a joke. Like that's going to be something that's
around the corner.
It's probably going to happen. So obviously that's one of those things you want to tick off. But what's left? Is there something that you just think about? Like, okay, I really want to accomplish that, or I want to get that, or what is that thing?
I mean, as a fighter, obviously, I always wanted it not only to fight for the title, but to win the title. And the sport is so much about timing. So it's like, hey, if I'm doing the right stuff, there might be enough pressure. If somebody drops out, there might be enough pressure on the UFC to say, hey, fuck it, we'll throw Jim in there.
I don't care where that would be, right? When it would be. I'm fucking going.
And I don't think anyone.
Ready. I gotta,
no one would have an issue with that. Let's just say, what's the next title fight? Who is it? Islam versus who's it meant to be? Dariush Oliveira, the winner of that. If one of those guys got injured and they went with bringing Jim Miller in, who's going to complain?
Yeah, exactly.
Me, because then I'd have to go to Abu Dhabi. That's a long flight.
Yeah. I mean, so that's obviously something that I always, I was always working for, and just the timing of it. Like when I was 9-1 in the UFC. I mean, I was, one fight away from beating Anderson Silva to 10 wins in the UFC in a short amount of time. Like, so, I was right there, but ran into some really tough guys on nights that weren't my best. And the opportunity kind of slipped away from me. But like other than that, other than fighting for the title, like I said, I just like challenging myself. So it's about fighting, tough opponents and dangerous opponents. And, like I told you in the octagon the other night, Mike, I want to Kimura somebody. I really want to Kimura somebody. I've had some really close calls inside the octagon, and that was my move for so long, training with the best guys, the absolute best guys. I'm not the type to like name names, in training sessions, but absolute studs. If I caught him with something, it was a Kimura, and I've never hit it in a fight.
Yeah. You said you don't want to name names, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Out of all the fights that you've had, because you're not a guy that's, controversy does not follow Jim Miller around. You know what I mean? But who's the one guy that's kind of got under your skin a little bit and you're like, oh, I'm going to enjoy ramming my elbow into your face?
I don't know.
He's too classy. He won't do it, Anthony.
He won't do it.
He's like...
I always wanted to punch Kenny Florian in the face.
Oh, that's a good one. I never expected that.
Come on.
That.
I like Kenny. Kenny's a nice guy. Just competitive rivalry. He said something to annoy you.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I never got a good vibe whenever he talked about me. It might have just been, I don't know, but
that'd be like a good jiu-jitsu match, like at a UFC fight.
It's funny though, because that's how it is. Because I used to be like that. I mean, fighters. I mean, I don't know how you are, but generally we can be kind of sensitive. When I would see someone, you don't seem like a sensitive guy though. But like when I was warming up, and obviously when it went on Fox TV before ESPN, we had the pre-fight shows and the post-fight shows, and I'm warming up. And there's people predicting I'm going to lose. And I would hold a grudge against them for so long. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's weird. So UFC 100.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Anthony.
No. We were kind of like in that same vein of just asking about, past fights and stuff like that. And so I was curious when I was going through your record and all the people that you've been in there with. And I just kept thinking to myself, I wonder who was like the toughest. Like, who was the one that he least enjoyed being in there with? Because I have those guys where even the guys you beat, like, I beat Volkan Ozdemir, but I don't want to fight that guy again. This is not a lot of fun, and there's guys that I lost to that I would definitely fight that guy again. So I didn't like, who's that guy that stands out? You're just like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't want to do that again.
I don't know if I really have anybody like that. Like there are the guys where it's like, you're a tough dude. Like, I mean, I don't know how Dustin was standing after our fight. I mean, I know he barely was, but like,
right.
Yeah. My Muay Thai coach says that like when he came into the octagon after the fight, his eyes went right to Rogan's face, and he's like, he looked like he was staring at a car accident. Like, that was just a brutal one. It just like being in there just felt like awful.
Right.
Yeah. We've all been there. This weekend, obviously, we have got a big fight: Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. What are your thoughts on that, Jim? Apparently,
I'm sorry,
Beneil's. Yeah, I was just saying. This weekend on the pay-per-view, we've got Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira, big fight. Apparently, Beneil says if he gets the job done, he's fighting for the belt. How do you see that one going?
I don't know, like Charles has been so like when he's on, he's at another level. And Beneil is super tough, but he has had those times where he's shown a little bit of vulnerability. So if Charles is on and can find that opening, I think he can take it, but I don't know. Beneil is just so he does fight super tight and he is dangerous everywhere. I think that he'll fare extremely well on the ground with Charles. I don't know. It's a toss. It's as a fan, I'm just looking forward to it.
Which one of those guys do you think has a better chance of beating Islam?
I think Beneil.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree. I think he makes less mistakes. Charles.
Yeah.
Is so exciting, but he's like a little reckless at times. Out of everyone that you fought, or is there anyone that you haven't fought that you thought, I always wanted to step in there and fight that guy?
For whatever reason, I just got this urge that I wanted to fight Damian Maia. I don't really know why.
That's unexpected. I did not expect that.
Yeah. I like, it's like, well, he's probably gonna like hop on my back and choke me out, but like, I don't know. Like I know that if I fought the way that I can fight, especially like fighting as the small guy, that I could find the openings and I could beat him. And I think it'd be like a hell of a challenge. And that's kind of why, I'd like to fight him.
So the plan now is it to rebook with Jared Gordon, or you got someone else in mind, or is it more about the timing?
It's more about the timing. About the timing. Honestly.
When do you want to fight?
I'd like probably like November-ish.
I don't think we've ever fought on a card together. Not that I can remember. Yeah. That's crazy. With as many fights we both have, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to try to do that. The UFC is gonna think I'm crazy when like, well, when do you want to fight? Like, I don't. Whenever Jim Miller fights.
Whenever Jim does. Let me ask you this, Jim, because obviously you started in the UFC 2008. That's 15 years ago. The sport has transformed since then. The landscape isn't even the same. From back in the early days, and then now they're giving you weight cut advice, they're giving all your meals and your nutrition and all the rest of it. What do you think? I mean, what's been the biggest change for you? I mean, obviously there's a whole new generation of fighters now. What's your opinion on like the newer generation, if you will, and where the sport is now? Did you ever think it was going to get to this kind of level?
Yeah, I mean, I always figured it would get to this level. I mean, it's just been that incremental growth. I mean, like when I signed in 2008, it was, like already had grown so much, from the Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that. And it was just, it just kept going. I mean, and that's really like, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is it's just continues to grow. I mean, like the amount of like kids that come up to me, like coaching wrestling, or my son's playing baseball, and my daughter's in softball, and like these kids will come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm a big fan," and stuff like that, and they're 10 years old. Where that didn't really happen to me like 10 years ago. I mean, the new generation of fighters, it's cool. It's cool to see fighters that started 10 years before I did, like they were 11 years old, 12 years old, when they first started like jiu-jitsu and doing boxing and stuff like that. The sport is constantly changing, and it's fun to continue to have to like adapt, and keep mixing things up.
When you're done competing, is that the direction that you find yourself going, is be like coaching full time and guiding these younger people, on the same path that you kind of walk down, or is that not something you at least like at the competitive at a high level? That's the tough part, right? Is that being a competitor for so long, like I've whittled away all the stuff that I'm not good at. Yeah. So like, I look at like good coaches as being an encyclopedia, and I'm not really that way when it comes to, like, I know a lot of submissions. I know how to strike. I know how to wrestle. I know how to do all the stuff, but like, I know how to do it for a 5'8" ball, shitty posture, giant head. Like that's what my game is, to make it work for this vessel that I've got. Right. So it is tough, like, to then sometimes, like, grab somebody that's coming in playing jiu-jitsu for fun, and trying to get them to do it my way. It's a little difficult sometimes, when you're used to people that train, training with people that train at a certain level. Right. So, so that's kind of a little bit difficult for me, but, I think that, I think if I do it right, I think, I'm going to try to do more like, we'll work on like some of the digital type stuff, and just so I have a broader reach too, so that I can find those athletes that are a little more like me, right? And can really use it. We see the sign in the background, the Miller Brothers Mixed Martial Arts Academy. Yep. You and Dan. How's Dan doing? He's doing well. Yeah. Yeah, good. We'll send my regards, man. And listen, so we'll wrap that up there, Jim. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you've done in the Octagon. It's always a pleasure calling your fights. It really is. And always a class act and an absolute monster inside the Octagon. So thank you for your time. Congrats on the win again. And no doubt we'll be seeing you in there at least another 10 times. Absolutely. Awesome, man. Thanks a lot, Jim. Man. Take care. No problem. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for having me. Oh, of course. Pleasure. There he is. There's not a nicer guy. No, there's not too many times where you're just, not to toot our own horn, but there's not too many times where the both of us are kind of bowing down to somebody like, this guy's the coolest guy in the room. No, he definitely is. He definitely is. I was mentioned there. I mean, he's the coolest guy in the room. Did you fight his brother? I fought his brother, yeah. That's what I thought. On UFC 114, Rampage versus Rashad, co-main event. Nice guy. Yeah. And he was one of the nice guys, because I generally always found a way of talking shit. Mm-hmm. There was no shit talk with him. In fact, he was all very cordial. I bumped into him a couple of times. When we were in the Octagon, when we squared up, we had a little, we rubbed our heads in each other, but, that was right before we fought. And he was a tough bastard as well. Friends, family, believers, have you purchased the perfect Father's Day gift yet? Well, have no fear. The leader in below the waist grooming are here, and I'm talking about our friends at Manscaped, and they are saving the day yet again with the total package for the father figure in your life this year. It's time to upgrade his game from waist to face with this exclusive offer. Have him join the 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get 20% off and free shipping with the code Bisping20. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you increase your confidence and level up your body grooming game, and the ultimate Father's Day MVP with the Performance Package 4.0. In this package, you will find the essential lawnmower, the waterproof cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out the grooming routine. The trimmer features a ceramic blade, which is tough on hair, smooth on skin. No nicking the piece. No being, you're not going to look like you've just
put your dick into an actual lawnmower. Okay, there'll be no blood. The lawnmower 4.0 is game changing for the sensitive areas. Also, you get the weed whacker, takes care of all the ear hairs. Okay, you don't want them. You'll get rid of them also. It's the perfect Father's Day gift that he will actually use as well. And the bundle comes with the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, the Crop Reviver Toner, the Performance Boxer Briefs, and a travel bag to hold it all in. This is the perfect gift for the father, so give it a try. For the Father's Day, for the father figure in your life, go to manscaped.com. You also get boxer briefs, you get boxers, you get underpants, you get the weed whacker, you get the Manscaped, you get all kinds of stuff. I'm not even going into everything. You even get some other free gifts. The performance package is ridiculous, and we're going to give you 20% off and free shipping. When you go to manscaped.com, you use the code BISPING20, 20% off with free shipping. Manscaped.com, use the code BISPING20. Make this Father's Day one he will never forget with Manscaped. Pay-per-view this weekend. UFC 289 up in Vancouver. Amanda Nunes, Irene Aldana. What do you think about that fight, Anthony?
Well, smart money would say Amanda Nunes wins, right? We have seen on a couple occasions, not a whole lot, but a couple, where Amanda Nunes has maybe struggled with motivation or focus, or maybe sometimes a lack of respecting her opponents. If ever there's going to be one of those times that pops up, if it's going to, this would be the time. I think a lot of people are probably thinking a lot like me. Well, Amanda Nunes is probably going to run right through her. She is tough. Aldana is so tough. But if the Amanda Nunes that fought Juliana Pena the last time shows up, I think I just have a tough time seeing Amanda Nunes at her best. I think she beats everybody. It's just, is that the one you're getting, you know?
Well, at her best, yes. You know, I mean, what Amanda Nunes has done in her career is unbelievable. And I'm looking at her wiki. She's only 35 years old. Mm-hmm. But, you know what I mean?
There's some miles.
Is it going to be the one? There's some miles. There's a lot of fights. And I'm not disrespecting her. She's been an amazing champion, 2 weight divisions, defending those belts consecutively. All right, not so much with the featherweight because there's not many featherweights. Mm-hmm. But it's incredible what she did. Lost to Pena. You know, she was sloppy in that fight. Wasn't good. I was talking about the COVID and all the rest of it. But she came back and put a beat down on her. Smashed her to pieces. She did. And it was a testament to Pena that it made it 5 rounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because she was
dropped
tough
in almost every round.
She was dropped a lot. You know what I mean? But she's tough as hell. And she fought her way back into it. Aldana, I'm telling you, I've got a sneaky feeling.
Do you?
Might see an upset this weekend with Irene Aldana.
I wouldn't be blown away. I think the smart money, just for me, you got to believe in Amanda Nunes until she gives you another reason not to. You know, it's kind of like betting against Islam. Like, it's just tough to do. Like, is it possible that Volkanovski goes out and wins? For sure. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. But like, the smart money and the smart bet you would think would have to be on Amanda Nunes.
Well, yeah. I mean, she hits like a goddamn truck. I mean, look at that fight against Chris Cyborg.
Well, she got great jiu-jitsu too. Like, she doesn't really have any holes in her game unless it's super high paced and she's getting pressured and she'll get tired.
But let's just say this. The teammate, and by the way, I'm not on the Irene Aldana bandwagon.
It's good.
You know what I mean? I love Amanda Nunes. She's awesome. She's my wife's favorite fighter. You know, she's amazing. Irene Aldana is I just like saying that, is the teammate of Alexa Grasso.
Yeah.
Did anybody see Alexa Grasso going out there and beating the old Chev? No. You know what I mean?
No.
Old Chevers spins a big back kick and gets choked out.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see that rematch happen soon. I'm just saying, things happen. Irene Aldana,
well, when you have a teammate win like that too, over someone who she's not supposed to beat, it's a very similar mindset. What things seem maybe not impossible, but seem very unlikely until someone around you does it. You know, would you? Teddy Atlas said that. Teddy Atlas said when you get
30% better,
30% better when you become champion. Now, if you got a teammate who's right there with you, like you almost get some of that. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
It's so funny.
I'm just laughing at something I don't want to say because I'm not talking shit about Brendan Schaub. Because that expression, when Teddy Atlas said that, it's been quoted a lot by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you know? And when you said it there, because I saw Brendan Sharp claiming it as his own line.
See, I always credit people where I hear it from.
Brendan's awesome. I'm not talking crap. But it's like I always used to say, you get 30% better. You get 30% better. I've always said this. I like
Brendan, but that's funny.
No, me too. It's not fair. He gets shit off everyone.
He does. He does catch a lot of shit.
I feel for the guy. And
he gets a lot of shit for his comedy special. You know, he got a lot of. I didn't think it was that bad.
The Gringo Pappy.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I didn't think
it was that bad at all. I mean, I laughed at it.
Yeah, no. I saw a few clips on Instagram and stuff. There's a few jokes in there. Do you know what I mean?
He did better than I would do.
Jesus Christ, the man's a success. He's living his life. He's doing well. People just like to talk shit. I don't know what it is.
He does a lot of pretty good things, like behind the scenes too. Like I think he's donated some money and covered the bill for some real important things, and he does some philanthropy, for whatever that word is, for donating money.
Philanthropic endeavors. Yeah, no, he does.
Whatever that word is.
God bless him.
Yeah,
God bless him. Charles Oliveira, though, Beneil Dariush, I'm excited for that one. I'm just saying we might not get a second show in this week because I'm going to be in England and Tenerife. I'm off to the airport.
Well, and then Thursday, so I fly to Bristol on Thursday as well. So
all right, so we're not doing a show on Thursday. Then there you go. But next week we'll be back Monday and Thursday, so we can go into it. UFC 287 predictions, main event. I'm just going to call it right now. Upset Irene Aldana. I knew. I don't know what it is. I like the way she moves. I like the boxing, and I just feel like it might be the time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Amanda Nunes smokes her, makes a goddamn fool out of me. But we got to make a prediction, and I'm going to say Aldana. What say you?
Yeah, I'm going to go Amanda Nunes. I think just skill for skill, I think she's better. I think she's a better finisher. She seems to be renewed and happier with kind of her new gym and training situation where she's kind of doing it her own way. Dean Thomas told me she's always been very, very like self-motivated. Sometimes you worry when people go off and they kind of do their own thing. They get their own gym and hire their own coaches, and you worry about their motivation. Because I know personally, I need someone to be on my ass telling me what to do and not let me kind of have the reins. But Dean said that she does a very, very good job of just being self-motivated. So I'm going with Amanda Nunes.
All right. And listen. And it's a smart pick. The Lioness is incredible, so there's certainly no shade there. Beneil Dariush joined us last week, I think it was. Said he's guaranteed a title fight. How can you not like Beneil? But the skill, the wins that he's been on, and Jim Miller fought him. I couldn't believe that. I was looking at Jim Miller's record. There's so many names. I'm like, there's Beneil Dariush. There's Nate Diaz. It never ended. So Beneil Dariush, Gamrot, Ferguson, Ferreira, Holtzman, Jugar Close, Frank Camacho, Drew Dober, Thiago Moises. Sensational wins. Okay, but this is a step up. Oliveira has been beaten by guys like the people that I just mentioned there. You know what I mean? Where is Charles Oliveira at? He makes mistakes. I feel like technically, I think Beneil is more sound. And what I mean by that is I don't mean he's better. I mean, strategically, he doesn't make those errors. You know what I mean? That's what's so exciting about Charles. He walks forward straight away. You know what I mean? Throwing shots, beautiful knees and elbows in the clinch, world-class jiu-jitsu, but he does leave openings. I think Beneil, given what's at stake, I think he's going to come in with a sound game plan, and I think I see Beneil getting that one done.
I do too, and for all those same reasons, he's just tighter. He doesn't make those mistakes. He's heavy-handed. He's willing to exchange in some of those spots, and I think that I just don't know that Oliveira is able to swing wild with him like that because he doesn't have a plan B. Oliveira typically has the plan B where if this doesn't go well, I'll just go down and they're not going to jump in my guard and follow me. Like the threat of his jiu-jitsu is enough to keep people out so he can recover. Beneil doesn't give a shit. He's going to follow him down and play that jiu-jitsu game with him.
It's crazy that they did that because, Paul Felder beat Charles Oliveira by sitting in his guard and piecing him up with elbows. You know what I mean? If you get the double bicep control, you just have a nice tight guard, and you do your homework.
As long as you don't get
submissions.
These away from your body and you keep, everything tight. It's very fundamental. You just don't let anybody isolate.
Your hands on the canvas.
Right.
Don't have them out wide like this. It's
your right arm stays on the right side. Your left arm stays on the left side. Keep your elbows tight. Control the biceps. You'll be fine.
All right, so that's the main and the co-main. Harrington, you put it in the notes. What is going on between Sean Strickland and Belal Muhammed. It seems that these two are beefing and talking about fighting a little bit.
So they were going back and forth, right? So Sean Strickland shows up to, Belal. They're both in the cage together, and he takes a little selfie, right? And he goes, "Oh, it's not old Thunder Thumbs, Belal Muhammed." If you want to play the video here.
Me and Thunder Thumbs himself, you guys. We're here. I'm here. We're all here. Let's have a party.
Oh, so Thunder Thumbs, because he's been tweeting a lot and talking a bit of crap. Belal did look like very annoyed at that. What's wrong with saying that?
Well, I do know that Belal Muhammed then took to his own Twitter and used like a bunch of different thunder thumbing it up. He put together quite a little video package full of memes, essentially just saying Sean Strickland's not that guy. Sean Strickland then quote tweeted it and said, "Hey, I'm here. You're here. Bare knuckle tomorrow. Let's get it done." No follow.
Let's have a listen to Belal here, though. Let's listen.
Guys, trying to act tough again on social media, looking for clout chasing, trying to get views for a podcast. I offer to fight you. You turn it down. You putting out this video of you recording from a distance, muttering under your breath, Thunder Thumbs, which is not even clever. Your racist hillbilly fans are saying, "Oh man, you're a beast. You're a man. Look how crazy he is." But look at the distance. It's like someone recording a lion in the wild. You stay at a safe distance. You don't get into the danger zone. You didn't get into the danger zone. Just stop this. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that
guy, pal. Who was that at the end? You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. They're not even the same weight class. You know what I mean? It's never going to happen. Sean does have a knack of upsetting people, though.
He's very, very good at it.
He's a very particular set of skills. Offending many people is one of them. I know those people that are offended. Get a life. Grow up. Who cares? Whatever. You don't like what someone's saying on social media? Don't follow them on social media. Don't follow them. Unfollow. Just that's all you got to do. On Twitter, you don't like the tweets? Unfollow. I was watching some stupid interview last night with the BBC interviewing Elon Musk about the things that he tweets and all the rest of it. He's like, look, listen, free speech is very important. And if the things that I tweet cause my company to lose money, then so be it. But I will still tweet whatever the hell I want to tweet. And he just made absolute mincemeat of the journalist. Yeah. So don't follow. Simple as that. You don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't follow that person.
It. Right.
You said you were a lurker before we were talking about social media. You said you lurk a little bit.
Yeah. I
don't like the lurkers too much. And Jason Statham, he's there's a few guys, but there's the most, and I'm not talking shit about Jason Statham, what a guy. But he has 100 million Instagram followers. Yeah. Guess how many people he follows?
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chael is the same way. Doesn't follow Chandler? Anybody. No, Chael. Oh, Chael. Yeah, same way.
He follows nobody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's pretty gangster at the same time.
It is.
You bastard. Let me have a look. Chael's on it. He follows no one.
I don't think he follows anybody. Yeah, I think he's got
bastard.
I know for a fact he follows 0 people on Twitter.
He follows no one on Twitter.
No. See this. Chael Sonnen. 0. 709,000 followers. Following 0.
Oh my God.
How do you see anything?
Well. Yeah.
Maybe that's the point.
Maybe that is the point. And good for him. Good for him. I've got to do less social media. I don't use it too often, but I do find myself looking at my phone a lot. But again, when I'm looking at my phone, though, I'm doing a lot of things. I'm not just texting and looking at social media. I do the majority of my emails on this, a lot of work stuff. I'm using it for my notes. So my usage is through the roof, but I'm not just staring at memes.
See, I'm mostly staring at memes. Yeah, I'm mostly memeing. For sure.
You love a good meme. Love a good meme. Yeah. All right, guys, let's talk about Shopify really quick. Listen, Shopify is the commerce platform that is revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. So whatever it is that you're selling, right? If you have a business, you need an online presence. You need to be able to sell to the worldwide market. Okay, simple as that. Shopify simplifies all of that, selling online and in person, so you can focus on successfully growing your business. As I said, if you're not online, if you haven't got a presence, an e-commerce presence, you're really limiting what you're able to do. Now, it could sound complicated, time consuming, and of course, very costly, but it's not. Certainly not with Shopify. It is so easy. And Shopify covers every sales channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. And it even lets you sell across social media marketplaces, so you can sell on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. It's packed with industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth. And it gives you complete control over your business and your brand without having to learn all these new skills. You haven't got to learn how to code, anything like that. There's 24/7 customer service, an extensive business course library, and Shopify is there to support you with your success every single step of the way. And it lets you accept every major credit card straight away. Every major payment method, you can do it straight away. And it's very easy. Very cheap. Let me tell you, sign up for $1 per month. For $1 per month, if you have a business, if you have something that you sell, if you're an entrepreneur, for one measly dollar per month, you can have a trial period at shopify.com/believe. They'll do it all for you. They'll show you how to do it. It's super blooming easy. Even Harrington could do it. You will be online. You can sell across multiple social media marketplaces, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. And it's cheap. $1 a month. Okay. Go to shopify.com/believe. Take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/believe. All right. Listen, thank you to Jim Miller for joining us. If you have a question for a guest in the future, but more importantly, if you have a question for us, please send them in to bympod@gmail.com. Harrington.
If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure you leave us a review, 5-star rating. Really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new video drops. And if you want to catch over 400 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. Check out over 20 great shows on the network.
All right.
So our first question here today is from Trey.
What's up, gang? Trey here with another question. So over the internet, people was asking, would you let Francis Ngannou hit you in the face with all his might for $1 million? My answer is no, because I would rather have my health. Dana White said Francis Ngannou hits as hard as a Ford Escort going as fast as it can or something like that. So you could die, really. So it's like, you want to risk dying or just keep your health? So I'm just curious to know. I'm curious to hear y'all answers, all four of y'all. Would you let Francis Ngannou tee off on you for $1 million?
See, that is an interesting question. Thank you, Trey. Hope you're well, brother. Because you could die. If you was to let Francis Ngannou, you say that's your head, just place it. $1 million is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a shot to the head for $1 million. But if you're dead, you don't get to enjoy the $1 million. So,
yeah, but your family could.
Well, your family could. Are you willing to risk your life? Are you willing to die right now, Anthony, for your family?
No, he's not going to kill you. You'd be fine.
You think you could survive?
Sir, could I live? For sure. Could I stay conscious? Unlikely. But
definitely
if you could brace for it, and you're not just like hands behind your back and just have to take it, that'd be tough. But if you could brace for it, get a good stance, split your legs, get some good shock absorbers, I'd take it. This
is the new version of power slap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like shot from Francis Ngannou. Just roll with it. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I'd try. I mean, I would definitely let him.
For $1 million?
For $1 million, for sure.
What if I gave you 10 grand? Could I smack you in the head as hard as I could?
For 10? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'll do it for 5.
All right, let's go. Maybe we'll do that on the live podcast that we do later in the year. We're aiming for around the Madison Square Garden card in November. Talking of.
You mean you're going to pay me $5,000 at that Madison Square Garden show?
No, I'm just going to punch you in the face regardless. Regarding, you mentioned Francis Ngannou there, but this wasn't in the notes, Harrington. But Dana doubled down on the Tyson Fury versus John Jones situation at the weekend, which I thought was a massive story. He said they've put an offer out there to Tyson Fury, a legit offer. And I know we talked about this a little bit, but Dana kind of doubled down. My question is, we don't need to go on we don't need to talk about the results because we know what the results would be. Jones would smoke him. He would. We know that. But I think for Tyson Fury, I think he'd get a lot of respect from people for doing that. I think he'd earn a tremendous amount of money because I think Jones and Tyson Fury are big enough. I mean, they don't get much bigger than that. And I think it would capture the imagination, kind of like a Floyd versus a Conor. And I don't think it would affect the stock of Tyson Fury in the boxing world if he went over and did it.
No, I think it's a great idea. I really do. For all the reasons you said, he's not going to lose any stock. He's still going to be the best boxer in the world. Still going to be the best heavyweight by far. He's going to make a shit ton of money. I struggle to see the negative if you're Tyson Fury.
These are the numbers. Let me just bring it up real quick.
I mean, he fought Deontay Wilder. John Jones ain't going to hit him any harder than that.
So apparently with go on.
Can I just want to make a point there is John Jones fucks people's knees up. That could be a thing that he's trying to avoid is getting those stiff kicks to the knees.
Yeah, no, but John Jones ain't going to do that to Tyson Fury's legs because simply being the longer you're standing on your feet and you're throwing shots, you're just standing in front of him. He's shooting a single leg from the other side of the octagon. Do you know what I mean? He's
going to crawl to him.
He's going to butt scoot. He's going to butt scoot his way over. Come on, Tyson. And Tyson's like, what you doing? No man alive fights like this. Come on.
That's not a show until no man alive.
Come on, lad. Hope you get. If you got a big Corey. No, here are the numbers on the Floyd versus Conor. Apparently 4.3 million pay-per-views sold in the US alone. If I'm not mistaken, that was $100 a pop.
They were expensive.
So 4.3 times 100, what's that? 430 million generated in the US pay-per-view alone. The gate was $55 million. And then apparently worldwide, it did 6.7 million pay-per-views. You put all that together, 6.7 times 100, call it, that's 670 million, plus the gate. You know what I mean? Conor, because I did a YouTube video on it, my channel manager sent over the information. He says here, Floyd Mayweather made reportedly $280 million in that one fight alone, while poor old Conor, he had to get behind just 130 million. Times are hard.
I don't know how he's going to make it work. Probably almost out of money by now.
He only got 130 million. Anyway, but when you see those numbers, though, they're staggering. They're absolutely
Do you think John Jones, Tyson Fury would be bigger?
I don't think it would be bigger. I don't. But I think it will be somewhere in the bloody ballpark.
It'd be comparable, though, you would think, right?
I can't see why it wouldn't be. Tyson Fury, everyone knows that name. From the boxing world, they all know. John Jones, MMA world, they all know. It's two forces colliding.
Tyson Fury's still very, very relevant in the boxing world. Not that Floyd wasn't, but he was towards the end of kind of his competitive boxing career at the top. You know, he wasn't fighting the best up-and-comers at the time. You know what I mean? He was.
Well, Tyson Fury is the top dog when it comes to heavyweight boxing
still
right now.
competing at the very highest level. And he's in huge fights now.
Yeah. I mean, Usyk is the fight he needs to have. I think he's got 3 belts. Usyk has the other belt. You know what I mean? So he is the face of heavyweight boxing right now. So I'm giving his personality and his charisma and the way he shit talks. You know what I mean? Because when Conor versus Floyd, it was Conor. Floyd was kind of quiet, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll never forget, Conor talked so much shit, rubbing it on his head, talking shit to Steven Espinoza from Showtime. I mean, he was selling that fight. He did a phenomenal job. I think this time round, it would be kind of be the reverse. Tyson would be the one talking ridiculous amounts of shit, Do you know what I mean? Showing up in these really loud suits, singing away at the press conference. And Jones is no stranger on the microphone. He'll speak up. He'll talk a bit of shit as well. So I think if he did a world tour, I think those numbers would be phenomenal. And I think Tyson Fury, listen, if he loses that fight, it's not going to hurt.
No,
it's not going to hurt. You might get guillotined. You might get rear naked choked. You're not going to get.
Yeah,
you'll be fine, and you might have an extra 200 million in your bank account. Do it, Tyson.
I think you should just go ahead and do it. I'll watch. I would love to see that. I would love to see the spectacle, because it would be an incredible spectacle. I'd love to watch it.
I mean, that would be absolutely gigantic. I want to see it, and I'm glad Dana's doing that, because just as
Tyson.
a fan,
you should call
as a fan. All right, I'll have a word. Tyson, listen, let's talk. Brian, what else we got?
I would love.
Hey, babe, shut this door, would you? You bloody. We're all leaving on holiday. Callum's here. Callum's girlfriend's here. Callum's girlfriend's mum's here. They're making a lot of noise. And they're making a lot of Asian jokes, right?
Are they?
Because she's Vietnamese. They're always his mum. This is not me. His mum's going, and don't worry, Michael. You know, Joe's is here, so she can take all as many pictures as you need. And she's packing. She's packed like a 20-pack of ramen noodles to take with, because she's like, I don't think we can get noodles in the UK. I'm like, we have noodles. I don't know if we have ramen noodles, but still. Anyway, noodles. Her words, not mine. Brian, what do we have?
I just want to say, if you call Tyson Fury, you have to do it as his father.
Tyson, look, listen, this John Jones, this is getting out of hand. Anyway, go on.
So we got a strange question here from Matt.
So the devil comes to you and he makes you an offer. For Anthony Smith, he offers that every next fight you win, and then you lose the next one after that. So you win your next fight, you lose the next one after that, every time. Now, you lose, sure, but the win is always guaranteed. And the fights that you win, when it's your day to win, you look like Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin every single time. Any injury you have, you don't feel it that day. Anything you have going on, you don't feel it that day. And when you lose, it's by a very close split decision, could have gone either way kind of fight. But it's a loss, nonetheless. As for Michael Bisping, you are offered that your sons and family will win every wrestling or martial arts match that they have for the rest of their lives. But anytime that you're at one of their events or discussing their events, maybe you're even at just a dinner table with them, maybe you're doing, media that day at the event, talking about your son's matches, you have to do a John Fury impression. It's just spontaneous. It's instant. You can't control that you're doing it. And you're just doing the whole no son of mine will ever be defeated. The deal. Michael Bisping, love what you're doing on the commentary. Anthony Smith, you got the heart of a lion and a band from your zoo. Thank you, guys.
All right, listen.
You got a pretty good deal.
My deal's fine.
Yeah, I'm getting crushed over here. I will
do that bloody impression. I'm out doing it. I'm annoying everyone. What do we get? If we make a deal with the devil, we have to give something up though as well, don't we?
No, you just have to apparently do the John Fury impression, and then your kids get to win everything.
Well, Callum's giving up wrestling now.
And I got to lose every other fight.
Don't do it. Don't take the deal.
No, I would never take that deal. That's a bullshit deal.
That's an awful deal. It's like, hold on a minute.
I don't care about looking like Anderson Silva when I win. I wouldn't care if I look like whoever. I just need a win. It don't matter what it looks like.
Bro, I'm pretty sure I can win one, lose one by myself.
I don't need your help.
I don't need fucking Beelzebub stepping in. Do you know what I mean? Sending me to eternal damnation. It's a weird question.
It was funny.
But we thank you. You could have spoke up a little bit on the delivery. It's a little low. Brian, we got one more.
Yeah, we actually have a couple more if you wanted to get to
Okay,
them.
all right. Well, let's wrap through them nice and quick.
We got this one's
because I'm off to bloody England. I've got to pack. I've got a lot of shit to do. No, it's okay. We'll do two.
All right, so we got this one from Jacob Zakowski.
Hey, what up, BYM Pod? How you guys doing? Jake here from Pennsylvania with another question. So my question for you guys is if a fighter is going for a takedown and the other fighter is striking them while they're going for the takedown, and if they do successfully get the takedown, but the opponent is landing strikes as the takedown is occurring, and if they're landing strikes while they're on their back, but the opponent has control the whole time, do you guys think that that round should go to the person who has control even though they're not landing as many strikes or being active? Or do you guys think the round should go to the person on the bottom because of the activity?
That is essentially what a lot of mistaken judges are coming down to. It's kind of situations like that, and it's a tricky one because every case will be on its individual basis, because you need to see how heavy the strikes were, how much of an impact, how much damage did they do. But I would say if a guy does a takedown, does nothing with it, doesn't advance position, doesn't doesn't do damage, doesn't set up a submission or even go for submissions, but the guy is doing the Travis Brown elbows against the fence on his back, I'm giving it the GSP elbows to his face and butchering him up, I'd say that guy's winning the round.
100% agree. And the criteria would also state the same, because now takedowns are kind of just takedowns are judged now as just a position change. So once the position changes, it's whoever's doing the most effective grappling. If you're just kind of holding and trying to control, but the other guy's throwing up submission attempts, hitting elbows, he should win that fight.
Just to it's the 3Ds: damage, duration, and domination. So if he takes you down, I guess, and you're not doing anything back, he's dominating it because he's holding you down. But if you're doing damage, and damage is the number one criteria, that would trump that. So, but it's still one of those situations. Go on, Brian, in 1 sec. Still one of those. Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about this.
Did you see this? Over the weekend.
Never mind whatever else we're talking about. This, I saw Mark Goddard post this on Instagram, and he said, this is why you always expect the unexpected. Brian.
Kaboom. Oh, incredible.
That is insane. That is insane.
To generate that kind of I've never seen that ever. To generate that kind of power is incredible. I got a little buzzed one time. I had someone mounted. It was Lumumba Sayers in Strikeforce. I swept him, kind of hipped over into mount, sat up, and he hammer fisted me hard as shit, and it kind of buzzed me for a second.
I
got caught feeling like I got to get out of here.
You've got full mount.
I got full mount.
I'm gonna get out of here. I've never seen that though. I mean, he was out like a light. Brian, just go back a minute though. He kind of deserves it. Did he have something taped to his back for a sponsor?
Yeah, that's what.
Do you know what I mean? That is old school. He's got a sponsor. He's got like a giant band-aid on his back. Just press play a minute. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's got a few of them. Look at that. He's covered in them.
He's out.
Oh no, he was flatlined, out cold, sleeping, snoring.
That's insane. I've never seen anything like that before.
No, I've never seen that. Never seen that. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Crazy.
There you go. Those strikes from underneath. And that's the show, guys. We don't need the third question. Hour 35 in the books. I'm off to England.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Safe travels. This should be a lot of fun, right? You get to go see your mom, see your family.
Yeah, but that's the idea. We fly to London now, but then I'm there for a day, and then I'm going to fly back to Tenerife to do some more filming. So I'm going to miss all that shit. And then we're going up to England. We'll see my mum and dad and some family for a bit. We'll still be doing the show, but we won't be able to get a second one out Thursday. I'll be traveling to Spain, Tenerife. Anthony's flying to Bristol, Connecticut. So apologies for that, guys. But next week, 2 big shows. Don't miss them. Anthony, will you miss me?
I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. I can't wait for Monday.
It means a lot. It means a lot. Guys, we'll see you on Monday. Take care.